Nangangati na naman ang itlog ko, nangangati na naman ang itlog ko, ka. Nangangati na naman ang itlog ko, nangangati na naman ang itlog ko, ka. What's up YouTube? It's your boy Dashing and this is week 10 of the SCD. I am the coach of Team Kati Itlog and this week we take on Sione aka Sione and the Z Guardian Kokos. So his team consists of G-Max Blastoise, Max Porygon Z, Corviknight, Rotom Heat, Mamoswine, Weezing Galar, Doublade, Scrafty, Flygon, Lickilicky, Alolan, Executor, and Meowstic. So Sione is probably the last member of the goons that I haven't faced before. I'm not sure how many more goons there are, but he's probably the last one. Though his team doesn't look amazing at first glance, he does have the forbidden Smash Max Mon. And with supporting pivot mons like Rotom Heat, Corviknight, Flygon, access to T-Spikes with the G-Wiz and Intimidate from Scrafty, the matchup could very well be tough for us if he doesn't bring the mons that we expect. So, looking at his team, I expected him to bring Blastoise, Rotom Heat, Corv, Mamo, Meowstic, and either Flygon or G-Wiz. Now looking at team preview, no Mamo, no Meowstic. And he opted for Scrafty, which is good for us, but Lickilicky and G-Wiz. This is gonna make things so complicated. Like, I'm okay with G-Wiz, but the fact that Lickilicky is there, it means that it has even more possible recovery. And we don't really have mons that can set up. I mean, we do, but the sets we brought don't have those. Because I believe the sets we brought covered a more variety of options. If he didn't bring either G-Wiz or Lickilicky, the game would have been so much easier. But yeah, those two mons coming to this week, it's gonna be a real pain. Just looking at team preview, before the game start, I actually took out Psychic from Torn and what's the other one? Flash Cannon from Hyde. So had I had both those moves, it would have been real easy to deal with the score. But yeah, as you will see, the game's gonna be much more complicated for us. Without further ado, let's check out the battle. So I lead Torn here as your leads Rotom. A very obvious lead from us, you know. We kinda give these players a handicap by leading with the obvious choice. So it is what it is. Rotom comes out here. We just go for the knockoff, revealing that if it's Specs, he won't be able to KO us, and if it's Scarf, we'll know ahead of time. So leading Torn was a good decision for us. We knock off its boots, which is whatever. He goes for a Volt Switch, does a decent chunk. Blastoise comes out as we go Reuni here. So he wasn't really respecting the fact that we would have Taunt because, you know, well, I guess I haven't brought Taunt in any week, so fair enough, right? So he goes Blastoise, gets a Shell Smash. And the interesting part is he doesn't have White Herb. And he decides to max here. Reuni should be able to take a max hit even if it's modest because we are AV this game. And he was probably hoping he would get the KO from the G-Max with the Cannonade after damage. We do get a Psychic off that does a shit ton of damage, 43%. We switch out to Bro on the next Max Water and another one. Bro, looking at team preview, was gonna be our most expendable mon. We need Comfy to check the Blastoise and the Scrafty. And Hyde is obviously our Max mon. Mienshao can beat all his mons except for the G-Wiz. And Torn is kinda good to have around just for speed control and can take on the Corv as well. So at this point, I just made sure the calc was correct and that Giga Drain would kill from this range. So he decides to switch out to Latino Heat. We get some lefties recovery back. We go to Torn here on the overheat. I didn't really calc this, but I think, I'm not sure how much investment he had, probably not that much. But because he did so little, we can just regen a good chunk of that off and go to Hide. I thought bringing Hide in was a good idea at this point. As he goes for Volt Switch, it does nothing. Scrafty comes in. I'm not really sure why he went Scrafty here. As we go for a Max Air, do a shit ton of damage. He goes for a Knockoff, which is actually very good. He's able to get rid of our specs. Had we had specs for the rest of the game, that would have made it so much easier. And I do agree with the knockoff, because had I been, you know, weakness policy, which is what a lot of the players bring, and he went for like a close combat or something like that, then the game would have been over right then and there. Nothing can take +2 hide. Maybe the G-Wiz, but yeah, we don't really have coverage for that. So maybe G-Wiz, but he'd probably sack off a good chunk of his mons before then. He switches to Corv as we go for a read here and go for the Max Flare, do a shit ton of damage, sets up the Sun as he goes Rotom Heat. We didn't really have to go for another Max Fire, but I thought it was our best option because it covered G-Wiz, because the other moves we had was Dark Pulse and Draco. So had he gone G-Wiz, he would have taken both of those comfortably. And I think it was really risky to bring out Rotom here, but it did work out for me. So we got the read right there. So at this point, if we still had our specs, we could have blown through this no problem. I decided to just go for a Dark Pulse here, which we fall short, revealing that he is max HP. But he won't be able to stall us for long here. He misses the overheat. In my opinion, didn't really matter. He's not gonna kill us with overheat anyway. Maybe he'll do 30%, so we're at 16. Blastoise comes in, we just drop a Draco on his ass. But still, despite having a 2-to-1 advantage, we are not in the best of places because, like I said, we don't have anything to hit the Weezing except for Reuni. None of our mons can hit that. But he doesn't know that. For all he knows, we have Flash Cannon here. Actually no, because we already revealed our 4 moves. So if he was paying attention, he would have known that. We switch to Reuni here, knowing we can take any hit due to our AV. He gets a confusion here as he goes Crafty. Not wanting to risk the roll, I go to Hide as he goes for... he switches out to Weezing on the Draco. A very predictable play, I guess, but I didn't want to lose Hide for no reason. Maybe if we got a Flamethrower there, we could do... I don't know, we don't really know its set, so maybe it's Max Pidef or something. We switch back to Reuni, so we were able to get some good recovery back, and we read the switch with Thunder. It wasn't really much of a read, if you ask me, because Thunder hit everything pretty good. Even if you went for the Lickilicky, we still had a chance to like paralyze it, and it can't really take too many psychics. He goes for a knockoff here, removing our AV. And as I go for a knockoff, removing its lefties. This was probably not a good move for us to do because AV is so important to check the Weezing. So that would probably be my first misplay, like aside from the team building, not prepping for the Weezing. But yeah, it doesn't look bad for us right now, but as you'll see, things could change rapidly here. So we bring out Torn on the Body Slam. Good for us, no paralysis. We go for an Air Slash. We only do 26. We're able to live the next one as we go Hide here as he goes for a Wish. We go for Dark Pulse, doing 35. He gets the KO while receiving the wish. So at this point, I'm starting to see that it's gonna be tough for us to win, because like I said, the best one we have to hit the Weezing is the Reuni. Had we had the Psychic on Thorn, we could have possibly checked that. And looking at our mons, Comfy is the most expendable one at this point. It can't really beat either of these. Well, it could probably beat the Licky, but definitely not the Weezing. So I go for CC here just to see what he wants to do. Even though I should really just Poison Jab here. But I just go for it just to confirm how he likes to play this endgame. We go Reuni here, as he goes for a Sludge Bomb. So it's dealing a lot more damage now that we don't have the AV. And the fact that we are already poisoned because of the T-Spikes is already making us think about how we're gonna play the endgame here. Because we can't really switch in Reuni as freely as we used to. I decide to switch out, go to Torn here. Take a Sludge Bomb, that's 29. Good for us, no poison. But it doesn't really matter. We go for an Air Slash here, get a flinch. So, good for us. Lickilicky comes in. We go for Mienshao just to make sure that if he goes for a wish, he probably needs to pass. He probably wants to pass it to or he probably wants to either pass it to Weezing or heal up the Lickilicky. So we go for CC just to make sure that he can't pass it to Weezing. Or we go for Poison Jab actually. I guess that play, there was nothing we could really do about that play. It was gonna get full HP anyway. He goes for a Sludge Bomb there. We go for an Air Slash and we miss. Unfortunate for us, but it didn't really matter in the grand scheme of things. Now this is the play. This is the play. Because of the what do you call this? Because of him healing up Weezing, that means the Lickilicky is in range of Focus Blast. But if you look at this, this is the best time for us to take out the Weezing, right? Because our 2 months can't really beat Weezing. So based on how he's been playing, he's definitely gonna switch. I don't really care which one he switches into, because what I do know is something's gonna take a Focus Blast. Eat this shit. And we connect. Scrafty's gone, so no more Psychic Resist or no more Psychic Immunity. We can just throw that out willy-nilly. Lickilicky comes out. I switch out to Mienshao, knowing that it's just gonna go for a knockoff here. It knocks off our Life Orb, no big deal. I go for the CC just to make sure it stops wishing up. We get some chip on the Weezing. And at this point, we use our Comfy as a sack. So this is basically just used to get Reuni in safely, getting that much valued regen. Yeah, we go for a Giga Drain, doesn't really matter. It's just there to pivot into the Reuni. And at this range of health, we are guaranteed to live at least 2 Sludge Bombs. We get a Psychic off on the Lickilicky. At this point, I thought about switching to Mienshao, but that would have been a choke had he gone for like a wish and then, you know, protected and then switched out to what do you call this, Weezing. Then I would have been in a worse position. So I just go for the obvious play and go Psychic here on the knockoff. He actually gets a crit there, and and because of that and the poison, it's good that we didn't fall to the poison after that crit. It would have been unfortunate to lose this game due to hacks. But yeah, with 3% left, the game's gonna be ours. We're just gonna switch out to Mian Chao, sack this off. Nothing really he can do. We just go for a poison jab, get it into range if ever it's not in range. Ryuni comes in with the regen health. We're gonna live the sludge bomb and KO it with psychic. And that's gonna be GG. It's dashing. So, an amazing game versus Sean, aka Sione. He definitely played well. Probably, I didn't really watch most of his games, but this could easily be his best performance. Not really sure how he could have played any better. He made obvious plays, but those plays were required for him to position himself the way he did. The decision to bring T-Spikes, even though I had a grounded poison type, was somewhat risky, but I guess not really because he didn't really need the extra item slot. You could say that my decision to not bring Stealth Rocks this week really hurt me, as you could see how many times he was switching there. So, but like I said, this is a game that we didn't really have many mocks for. I think I only had like 2 games, and the dude I played just kept bringing like unorthodox mons like the Doublade. Like, why are you bringing Doublade versus like a Hyde team, right? Or Torn with Heatwave, stuff like that. So we didn't really get to practice versus the G-Wiz first of all, and Lickilicky just made that really complicated for us, that endgame sequence. But we're happy to get the W, yeah, this was easily one of my toughest games in the last 2 or 3 leagues, and hopefully we'll get to play Sean in another league, because unfortunately he will be eliminated after this week. So we're moving on to playoffs, and I wonder when's that gonna start. It may be next week, maybe not, but I'll be hyped to check out the post regular season video they're gonna be making. So yeah, if you guys like the content, like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Cheers!